Good afternoon, everyone. I, Sakshi Suneja, would like to welcome you all to the second edition of National Webinar on Career Awareness in Legal Globe, organized by Youth Parliament Society, Law College, Dehradun, Faculty of Uttaranchal University. I would like to welcome a guest speaker, Mr. Nand Gopal Anand, Equity Partner, Juris Corp, and a Secretary, Darshi Shah, Director, Business Development. I would also like to acknowledge Vibhum Agarwal, Manager Corporate Resource Center, Honorable Dean, Law College Dehradun and Officiating Vice Chancellor, Uttaranchal University, Professor Dr. Rajesh Bahuguna Sir, Honorable Principal, Law College Dehradun, Professor Dr. Poonam Rawat Ma'am, Dr. Rajat Sharma, Honorable Chairperson, Youth Parliament Society. I would also like to acknowledge President, Vice President, and members of the Youth Parliament Society, and most importantly, the participants who have gathered here for today's session. Before starting the session, I would like to introduce a speaker to you all, Mr. Nand Gopal Anand. His core areas of practice are banking and project finance. He specializes in matters pertaining to acquisition, financing, project finance, bilateral, syndicated lending, and security creation, external commercial borrowings, and overseas direct investments. He has garnered significant experience in financing transactions. He was recognized as Rising Star for Banking in International Financial Review 1000 in 2019 as well as 2020. He was ranked as highly recommended lawyer for banking and finance and also for projects and infrastructure by Asia Law Profiles in 2018. Mr. Nand Gopal regularly represents banks, financial institutions, sponsors, corporates, companies, and corporations in negotiation and documentation of various financing transactions, including advising on credit facility agreements, security documentations, intercreditor agreements, cross-border acquisitions, advisory-related work, and regularly advises clients on cross-border issues. Mr. Nangopal also advises clients on regulatory and advisory aspects, including on matters relating to foreign exchange laws. Currently, Mr. Nandgopal, besides co-heading banking, heads the project finance practice. He also heads the New Delhi office. Now, I humbly request Honorable Dean, Law College Dehradun and Officiating Vice Chancellor, Uttaranchal University, Professor Dr. Rajesh Bahuguna Sir, to kindly address the gathering.
Thank you, Sakshi. On the occasion of this national webinar on career awareness in Legal Globe, in second edition of this webinar, organized by Youth Parliament Society of Law College Dehradun, Faculty of Uttaranchal University, today's keynote speaker, Mr. Mr. Nand Gopal Anandji, Principal of Law College Dehradun, Professor Poonam Rawat Ma'am, Chairperson of Youth Parliament Society, Dr. Rajesh Sharma, President of the Society, Mr. Sahil Thakur, its Vice President, and all the office bearers of the Society. And today's host, Sakshi Suneja, dear participant from this university and all the other university of the country and abroad. I am taking this privilege to welcome you all on the behalf of Youth Parliament Society of Law College Dehradun and also on the behalf of entire Uttaranchal University family. You all are welcome in this webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, this webinar was planned initially when we organized the first session of this, that was career awareness in Legal Globe. But to be very frankly, when we started that first edition. So we thought that there are series of avenue for the career of law graduates. It was really not possible, rather it was not feasible to complete that entire area within that single webinar. That is why some of the topics which could not be covered in that, we have planned the second edition of it. And that's why before you is today's session. As far as banking sector and finance sector is concerned, I understand it's a very attractive and new option open for the law graduates. There is lot of work, particularly after SARFAESI and IB code. There are lot of work in this sector. And there is a scope even to work in the chamber and practice the law and advise your clients. So since we have banking law as a subject, almost all the university have it, but it's normally a 3-credit course. And in practice, it is seen that core area of the subject sometimes remain untouched. So we are organizing this webinar so as to be benefited our student and the student from other university regarding this financial area. And for today's webinar, like we have banking and finance sector, and to justify this topic, we have here well experienced person in practical application of financial and banking laws, Mr. Nand Gopal Anandji. So I'm not taking much of the time. Without taking much of the time, I once again welcome Mr. Nand Gopal Anandji on the behalf of Uttaranchal University. You are most welcome, sir, in our university. And this is the time when lockdown and other things are there, and we could not call you in physical. So, but I invite you for future that whenever the time permit and whenever the situation is good, we will definitely love to see you here in Law College Dehradun, Uttaranchal University, and interacting with our students. Thank you. Thank you so much. And over to Sakshi Suneja.
Thank you, sir, for such a generous welcome note. Now, I would like to request a guest speaker, Mr. Nand Gopal Anand, to start the session on the topic Decoding Career in Banking and Finance Sector.
Thank you, Sakshi, and thank you, sir, and definitely ma'am and teachers over here. As I said in the first address, still at the heart, we each law student whosoever may be working at whichever place, we are still the student. And when Dr. Rajesh said, we would love to invite you to the campus, first thing comes to my mind, some at least 15, 16 years back of my campus. Automatically you go back to your campus. So people over here, I think most of they are the students. So I would like to keep it an interactive session. See, we have been in this webinar. I can be the speaker. I can keep on talking. You can keep on listening. That's not the purpose. And all the students over here, whosoever have joined, thank you for joining this. And rather, I should be asking you all that you should be thankful to your institution, to your principal, to your organizer who have been organizing this. To be very honest, if you ask me personally, I really envy you people at times that you all have so much technology and things happening at your time, which during our time never was the case. Though I'm not that old when I say our time, but still. Having said this, well, coming to the point, I know this session is more per se give you all an insight about banking and finance laws. How do you all see yourself? What all you all can foresee for your future perspective as a career? Because see, as such, we all are in the 5-year law course. And one thing which always comes to my mind when anybody is asked, a first year or a second year student, or for that matter, even a fourth year student, what is your area of interest in law? It reminds me of my 10th standard or 12th standard. When I was in 10th standard, when my parents used to ask, what is your area of interest, math or bio? I used to think, I don't know hyperbola, triangle, or your other subjects. How can I say that I know how the subjects will be? It's the similar way till the time you really know what exactly a particular practice area is all about. Definitely asking that question will be unfair to any student, because then it's a matter of somebody may say, yes, I have developed an interest. Believe me, guys, the interest develops all on your teachers, all your mentors, whosoever, the way they are telling you. It's why anybody says that this is the subject I find it easy, because your teacher has explained in such a better way that has been made easy for you. Similar way, even for the banking and finance, if you ask me, the moment you start getting into certain things are really easy. It's on the table, and there are various things which you will get to see that, okay, you are part of various aspects which is happening around the society. I know the coordinator has kept the attendees on mute, but definitely I would like to hear from the students, what are your expectations? Because see, for me, as I said, I can speak, talk on and on. I'm a lawyer and you all are budding lawyer. Lawyers are known for talking and speaking, and that's what we at times charge to the client. And having said this, it will be easy and good for me if I get to hear from any of you. Don't hesitate in saying what are you looking forward for. And definitely I have an agenda, I have some thought process in mind, which I think as a student you should be knowing about it, which will definitely help me to guide you through and sail you through a better output of this webinar. If I can hear from anyone, I mean, say any of the students who can say what is that you are expecting, and then I'll take it forward. Guys, you can speak because nobody is seeing. That's the best thing of the webinars. Okay, I know it's a little a tricky situation, but don't worry, I'll just take it forward. See, when it comes for banking, I'm sure, Sakshi, for my understanding, if I'm not wrong, the attendees are from first year to fifth year. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So see, when it comes for banking and finance practice, this is an area which down the line has really grown up on all with respect to all the organization. When I say all the organizations, I mean to say various law firms which down the line 15 or 20 years before, they were not having this practice area. They have started this practice area as one of the area to be taken care of. When it comes for financing, wherever you all are sitting, if you all look around, whether it's a fan in your room, whether it's an AC in your room, whether you look out a window, the road on your the road itself, or even for that matter, somebody maybe in some location where you may have the solar panels. Guys, believe me, everywhere the financing is involved. It's all about money, and money has to be taken care everywhere. When I say everywhere, that's where the financing come in place. When I say come in place, so when it comes for the banking and finance practice, there are various areas where it is segregated. One is where you advise the banks. In this area, we keep advising a lots of banks and finance institutions. Then the question comes, what sort of advice a bank is being given? Think yourself for a moment. You go to a bank, you fill a form. Even to the extent when a bank has to have this form in place, some lawyers has to draft it. So believe me, any of the thing in whatever you all are signing, is at the end it's a contract, and that contract has to be drafted by a lawyer, and that's where our role comes in play. So starting from the establishment or licensing or starting of a bank till the winding off of certain banks. Why I'm saying winding up of certain banks? Because, for example, I'll tell you, I'm sure you all would have heard of banks like Bandhan Bank and all, which got licensed 2 or 3 years before. So when these banks got the license from RBI to start up the business, there they have to do all the regulatory work with respect to the RBI and all, and that's where your work as a lawyer kicks in. When those type of work involve you looking into starting from the laws, RBI, Reserve Bank of India Act, Banking Regulation Act, and various circulars which RBI keeps on coming with notifications and circulars which RBI keeps on issuing it. Based on that, we keep on advising to the banks. That's one area. Now, I'll go stepwise where I'm talking about establishing the bank. Once you have established the bank has to do the business. At the end, bank is also an institution. It's a company which has to do the business. To do the business, they launch various products. When I say various products, it can be a product which is by way of your home loan, car loan. It can be, just think for a moment. I'm sure each of you must be having an account with a bank, and each of you must have deposited, I'm not saying huge amount, let's say 10,000 also in the bank. Do you think if bank is paying 10,000 on your 10,000 saving, if they are paying a rate of interest, let's say 6%, how that money bank is going to pay you? And even bank has their offices, their employees, somewhere they have to incur and recover those monies. To recover that, what bank does? Bank lend the money. They lend it to the corporates. So today, me and you may be getting a loan at a rate of, let's say, FD interest on, let's say, 6 or 7%. Same thing bank lends to the corporates at a rate of, let's say, 8%, 9%, whatever. But you and me may be talking about a loan of, let's say, when I say you and me, you all are a student, but I'm talking about your parents and all. Somebody may avail home loan on all. There the loan comes at, let's say, 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs, a crore or 2 crore. But when we talk about corporates, they avail the loan of 1,000 crore, 800 crore, 700 crore loan. But do you think when these loans are given, no bank is going to give these loans on trust? Because at the end, there are certain things which has to come on the paper. And that's where the lawyer's job comes into play. That's where we come into picture. That's where we have to start getting into the documentation of your commercial understanding between the banks and the parties. And then we draft. That's why we say, as a lawyer, when we talk to the clients and all, that you give us a term sheet. We call it a term sheet where you have the commercials captured. When I say commercials, it talks about what will be the rate of interest, what will be the security package, by when the loan has to be paid, what all covenants, when I say covenants, as in like what all sort of undertakings will be given, what sort of representations will be given. Those are just a smaller term sheet which are generated by the bank. We as a lawyer, we churn out into a document, making it more robust. Just imagine a 7-pager term sheet gets converted into a 80 or 100-pager document. That means definitely as a lawyer, we are playing some role. We are putting flesh to the certain skeleton sort of structure. When I say skeleton, your term sheet is nothing else, just like a skeleton which is given by the bank to its corporates and all. That's one where our role comes into play. When I said that these loans are given and all, no bank is going to give that loan. The best example I'll give you, for example, right now, I'm sure you all would have heard about Reliance Jio, some investment being happening from various investors and all, but there are also parallelly certain loans has been availed and all. When these loans are availed, these loans are given based on your loan documentation. When I say loan document, either you call it loan agreement or facility agreement, then there are certain security packages. So when I say security packages, for example, when anybody in your house also avail a car loan, they hypothecate that car to the bank, that in a case if you don't pay the money back, bank has a right to take back your car. Similar is the case for any of the corporate. So think of a situation where the corporates are availing loans of 1,000 crores and all, and there's some security packages to be given. When security packages to be given, it's normally given from starting from your immovable property. When I'm saying immovable property, I'm talking about land which runs in acres of land, 100 acres, 200 acres, depending on the valuation which bank does. So I won't go much into nitty-gritty of how it works as like from the documentation perspective and all, but just to tell you, this is one of the very smaller thing of banking and finance practice. As Dr. Sharma said, there is also, like, for example, IBC which is in place. So right now, that's a mechanism whereby it has definitely opened a good plethora of another practice area where where people and the lawyers have been getting expertise on, and have been advised the banks where their loan and account has gone really in trouble and default and all, and under the IBC code they are trying to get some resolution professional appointed and all, and it is a totally different gamut of all set of new law with new way of functioning and everything. Having said this, coming to that's one of the banking sector which I was talking about. Then we have also another set which talks about projects finance. When I say project finance, while talking, I said, if you look on the road, these roads and bridges, when any of the contractor or any of the institution, for example, your Gamma, MR, all these, or you go to the GMR airport and all, they are the private players. They invest thousands of crores of rupees. So to invest thousands of crores of rupees, they do the bidding and all. And see, that's why I said lawyers are to be involved everywhere. That's why I started from your room. Even if you look up, down, left, right, anything you pick up, you will find that no, somewhere somebody has drafted something. That's why something is there. And why I'm saying this, because when it happens to loans and all, each company, they keep on availing various loans, various facilities. Now coming to the projects, when I say road, it can be railways. So if you ask me, I myself have done 4 to 5 projects with respect to metro in Delhi as well as in Mumbai, where we have got funded for some 3-4 companies, which the funding was around 1,500 crore, 2,000 crore, where we advised on everything, starting from, even we had to go to the depth of understanding how this tunnels and all, this subway and tunnels which are constructed. I don't know how many of you have seen have been to Delhi and all seen the metro. I'm sure many would have seen it. So that's where the lawyer's role comes in play, because these are the agreement where joint ventures are formed. Because we also know, to some extent, we are also dependent on technology, and that's where for financing, each and every these things are to be looked into. That's one. Coming to the projects, then you have the solar. It can be wind power. It can be anything. When I say project, it starts from your mining to your wind power. When I say wind power, you have various companies like Suzlon and all, who produces the electricity through the windmills and all, and there they have this sanction of loan and everything coming in picture. And that's where we have project documents there. When I say project document, think of a company who produces the electricity through hydropower. When they produce the electricity, those electricity to be transmitted through the DISCOMs, distributor companies, to the different areas. So there, for example, there's a company like JSW Energy. They have a power plant in Ratnagiri. They produce some 1,700 megawatt watt of power, but that needs to be distributed. So there again, role comes into play to look into power purchase agreement. So these are the various aspects with respect to your project finance. Now coming to the another angle of financing only, somewhere Sakshi read it out, ECB. These are the cross-border deals. When I say ECB, external commercial borrowings, the word itself says external commercial borrowings. That means something you are doing some borrowings from abroad. Now you all may think, if I have a bank in India, why do I need to borrow from outside? But yes, at the end, everybody wants to have a better pricing. When I say better pricing, you want to, and you need to have a good rate of interest. So as a borrower, as a company, anybody wants to avail any loan, he would like to have a lesser rate of interest. That's why at times when the loan are available as at a lower rate of interest abroad, there are certain regulations. When I say certain regulations, these are the commercial borrowing, external commercial borrowings, which are to be availed by the banks outside India, for which it is governed under FEMA. We have the borrowing regulations, and it is regulated by RBI, because this is a money which is coming in India from outside. That's an external commercial borrowing. Now coming to the another angle to it, like ODI investment. When I say ODI investment, it's like overseas direct investment. These are the type of transactions where your company, like for example, Reliance or Tata, they are the Indian company who are really giant company, and they are expanding their verticals abroad also, in other countries also. If they have their subsidiary open in other countries, they need some, and those companies, the subsidiary abroad, if they are availing some sort of facility, some loan or any sort of exposure, they need some comfort from the parent, because the company which are set up outside for a particular purpose and all, their balance sheet normally are not that strong in the initial stage. To mitigate that risk, the banks and the institutions, foreign banks and institutions, they ask the parent in India, please give us some guarantee, give us some comfort so that I can lend to your subsidiary abroad. And there again, the cross-border deals, which is known as overseas direct investment, comes in place. And that's where again FEMA comes into picture. Now coming to another angle, where again for financing, you have shipping finance, which is also one of the area which normally I won't say in India it's very prevalent, because we have not a lot of shipping company. But when it comes to countries like Singapore or Norway and all, They are the countries where these sort of financing is very active. But yes, even in our country, there are many shipping companies who has to buy the ship, and these ships are, for those type of ships, they are regulated by, again, different set of laws. When I say different set of laws, I'm not sure if any of you happen to see any of the big vessel, you will see an Indian flag being there, and that's very critical and important from the law perspective. So no India, no ship can be registered with the Mercantile Marine Department till they have the Indian flag with it. And when I say Mercantile Marine Department, again, then you have mercantile law which governs that. See, if you all have sensed as of now, I'm trying to link banking and finance. You cannot see in isolation. It's a law linked to various things. When I was talking about project finance, I spoke about electricity, power generation. The moment I said, I said power purchase agreement. Power purchase agreement, that means I'm talking about electricity somewhere, something has to do with the Electricity Act. So that's how it is linked. So it's a full gamut of laws put in together, which go hand in hand. Having said this, now coming to your another aspect is aircraft leasing. Aircraft leasing, most of the aircraft, I'm sure you all would have heard from or read various news articles that these airlines, they lease their aircraft. So that's again a very critical and important thing where people go into leasing of the aircraft, and there are separate set of documentation. Then again, we have one set of transactions which we keep advising, or which keeps happening in the market, is trade finance. When I say trade finance, I'll just I'm trying to just give you a flavor of everything, and then I'll come to the law, that these are the things which you all should know. And these are the places where you see yourself or perspective for yourself down the line after passing out from your law college, that these are the places you can think of. But before thinking of something, you need to know how and where things are there in the market. Now coming to the other aspect, I was on sorry, I just missed that. Not an issue. So now coming to the trade finance. Yeah, I was on the trade finance. When it comes to the trade, think again, I'll go to the company like Reliance, for example, Vedanta and all. Reliance, they produces the oil, but that oil needs to be exported. How do you export? Now think of a situation when you export the oil. Definitely, as an exporter, you need the funds to come to you immediately. But even there is a deal. When I say there is a deal, there is a thing in the market when you all will go into the system and start working. We say cash is king. So definitely, the moment any supplier, any exporter would always want to receive the funds immediately. And that's where banks also comes in picture. So think of a situation, let's say Reliance is exporting some billion barrels of crude, or rather importing billion barrels of crude oil, and they have to make the payment. But they may say, sorry, I'll make the payment as and when I'll import the goods. But in between, the bank will come in picture, who will say to the supplier, I'm ready to pay you, let's say the supply is of 100 rupees, I'm ready to pay you 100 rupees upfront. But there they'll charge from Reliance, for your understanding, I'm saying, they'll charge 110 rupees. That's where the bank makes the business for them, because they have the liquidity with them. They need to pump in the liquidity into the system from various ways. That's one aspect, which is called your trade finance. Now coming to your securitization, where securitization is something where security receipts are sold into the market, and it pertains to with respect to your various companies like Tata Motors and all. They have various car loans, motor loans and all, but many of the loans goes bad. That's why you have certain institution into the market who are very good at it. So a bank may be good at lending, but certain banks, people may not be good at recovery. So that's why you have certain other institution who does the recovery. When I say recovery, I'm not talking about the one recovery agent you see in the movie and all. They have sent the gundas all. No, I'm not talking about those recovery agents. I'm talking about that as a part of business. There are certain organizations who said, I'll buy a bad product from you, but I know how to get meat out of it, how to make beneficial for it. So definitely some institutions, some banks who are not benefiting out of it, they pass it to the other institution. That's one. Now coming to another aspect, which is we call in the banking finance sector, is derivatives. Derivatives is one thing which is again a very terminology which it sounds very a little zazzy, and it is zazzy. The product, right? It is, because think of a situation any of you would have down the line 4 or 5 years before. If you have bought $1, it would have costed you around, let's say, 70 rupees, and now I'm sitting at 80 rupees. So I gave an example of $1. Now think of a situation for the institution and the corporates who have done the transaction, which was done in dollar, and then the same institution was to repay back the money, and that dollar which was taken 4 years before was for 70 rupees, and when I have to repay today, it turns out to be 80 rupees. Just think, take an example of $100 million transaction only, and you convert into rupee at 80 rupees, and then see the how much gap is there. That's where the derivative transaction comes in place. This one of the part of derivatives I'm saying. That's where they hedge, swap the currency and all, and they say today we'll fix the price. And when it comes for derivatives, it's not just the currency, it also goes to the commodities. When I say commodities, it goes to the prices of your wheat, prices of the cotton. That's why it's a full circle sort of thing. You cannot restrict that. No, it's just the currency. They are institutions who deal into commodities. When I say commodities, who deal into your various food products and various things. That's one. Now coming to, these are the overall, I'll say, areas where banking and finance comes into picture. Again, one of the very important sector, which is your real estate. Real estate is something which I'm sure if your parent or somebody would have taken or may have availed home loan, or for that matter, even the place where you all are there, in your city, there will be certain malls. Those malls, you have certain shops. Just think how banking is there. How banking is there, I'll tell you. Those malls and anything which has been constructed by any of the mall owner or the builder, they avail the loan. When I say they avail the loan, because these are the infrastructure which needs crores of rupees. When I say crores, it may be 400 crore, 400, 300, whatever may be the hundreds of crores. There, these banks end up doing LRD financing, lease rental discounting financing. When I say lease rental discount, because I give an example of the malls. In the mall, you will find various shops. Those shops, very rarest of the rare mall, you will find the shops are sold. Primarily, they are given a lease. And when banks takes the exposure, they say whatever lease rental the mall will incur, they'll use it for repayment of my loan and all. Because at the end, while construction, everything was happening, that builder and the company was in requirement of the liquidity, and that's where they have roped in the bank. But bank also has to see a way out to get the funds out from the company. So they see, these are the structures which we keep advising to the client, and in that process we say, tell them you have a security over whole of your asset. When I say asset, your immovable property, the land along with the building and all. That's one. In real estate financing, one of the aspect is also your funding, which happens to the real estate developers. When I say real estate developers, I'm talking about the societies where many of you may be staying. The society may have 8 to 12 towers, and and for each tower, you have each individual buying a home and taking a loan of, let's say, 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs, a crore or 2 crore, depending on the value of the flat in that tower. But think of the all towers put in together as a project which any builder would have developed it. Let's say some, for example, ATS something. So that is something which they would have developed, and to develop that they would have incurred the cost, and that's where they take the funds from the banks and all, and that's where the documentation and everything comes into picture. Now coming to your role, when it comes, see, these are the, what I've been talking are the various areas. Now when it comes for the law, first thing and the basic thing is your contract. If you have seen from the first discussion till end, everything I've been saying agreement and all, it's everything is basics lands up to contract. So contract, whichever practice area you may be thinking of, contract is the basis of everything. So wherever, for example, when we talk about, let's say I'm doing some transaction with a bank, and all of a sudden Sakshi says I'm going to give the personal guarantee. First thing, as a lawyer, we ask to the client why Sakshi should give the personal guarantee. What is the consideration there? That's the first thing we try to establish. And the moment I say there is no linkage between Sakshi and me availing, yes, if Sakshi giving or let's say Poonam ma'am giving guarantee for Sakshi availing the loan, I can say the consideration is there that the Sakshi is the student of the same college and she is the principal. That is the consideration. See how law is getting evolved in just day-to-day transactions also. So these are the things where that's why contract is the basis of every agreement. Any practice area you may think of, may choose to do, go ahead with. That is something which you should be really thorough with it. Then you have heard me when I was talking about immovable property being given as security. When I said immovable property, I'm sure the moment I say immovable property, first thing must, I'm not saying this to the first year students, definitely not, because I know what a law paper they would have completed. But people either in third or fourth and fifth year, the first thing that should strike their mind is Transfer Property Act. That's the way you talk about. See, I'll tell you, this is something which you all reading something right now and reading something while doing practice has a different connotation altogether. Right now, you may be reading it, oh God, I have exam, let's clear it. I need to get so-and-so marks. I have to score so-and-so CGPA and all. That's a different aspect. But the moment you get into the practice, law has to be applied with logic. You cannot get the law straight on the commercial angle, because in the business, see, if the bank is not able to do the business, they'll say, sorry, I don't need a lawyer. That's why at times, I'll tell you, many of our clients, they end up making fun of us. They tell us, sir, when we invest money, then you all make money. When our money goes bad, then also you make money. To which we end up telling them, sir, when you invest money, we try to protect you. But when your money goes bad, we try to get your money back. So you need lawyer anyways, this way or that way. So we are there to assist you. So that's why I said it's a communication skill, how you put across to the client. And it's a commercial thought process, which is very critical and important for each of us. And believe me, your learning starts for law the day you enter the college and you start observing each and everything around you. You will automatically start feeling, because I'm sure each of you right now, whenever anything is being given to you to read, like any other member of your family, you all must not be signing it without reading it. You end up saying, "Ek baar to padh hi leti hu. Ek baar padh hi leti hu because I'm a lawyer," and that's how the habit develops for us. And we, by habit, we develop a habit of reading it, and that's where and how it is. Now moving to another aspect of law, FEMA. FEMA is again, see, in Foreign Exchange Management Act, it is not. There are various things which has been covered. But when it comes from a banking perspective, there are certain regulations which needs to be looked into, lending, borrowing regulations, then cross-border related deals, ODI, you will find something with respect to JVWS and all. These are the things which you should look into. Coming to another, again, aspect of another law, which is your stamp duty. In banking and finance practice, stamp duty is very critical, very important. And it has a commercial angle also. When I say it has a commercial angle, for Maharashtra, the stamp duty on a 1,000 crore loan, I'm saying 1,000 crore loan is 0.2%. I don't know, whoever is good at math, just do 0.2% of 1,000 crore on a loan document. That is the amount of stamp duty has to be paid in Maharashtra. But no client will say, I'm taking a loan where I have to pay the fees to the bank also, their arrangement fee, their agency fee, and plus so much stamp duty and all. There we suggest an alternative. Why don't you execute it? Places like Delhi and all. But yes, again, for Delhi, again, law is you have to establish some nexus. You cannot go and execute and do anything anywhere. That's why I'm sure many of you would have done the CPC, where cause of action and all those things you would have read it to go into particular to follow the particular jurisdiction. Having said this, similar way to get a solution for the client. That's why I said law with logic plus commercial, because see, I have to be, as a lawyer, I cannot go beyond law, but I cannot ignore the commercials. Commercials are also very critical and important. So there you need to tell them how it will work, which believe me, with practice, with time, you all will get to know. I'm sure, as I said, first thing, how is your senior, how is your teacher, how is your senior at a working place? That plays a very, very important role, because they are the one who guides you to the great extent. And definitely your effort is always there. If it's like, if I tell you to read X, and if you have read X plus Y, automatically as a senior, first thing comes to my mind, no, this person is really putting an effort. I need to put an extra effort. As an institution, if you ask about us as a Juriscorp, as an institution, we have been very, very helpful to whoever has interned with us. I still remember there was one intern who has interned with me. He was from NLIU Bhopal, and he was in third or fourth year. And the way he was into research and trying to understand, I got him involved on certain transactional work. Definitely, what I was expecting him to do certain things, which he did really well. And that's why I said, as a mentor, we also want students to really put in effort. And believe me, all the institutions across India, they really appreciate any of the students putting in effort. The people working there or asking for anything to be done at their end, they definitely assist and take care of their students. That's definitely there for all the organization I can speak for. That's one. Now coming on another aspect of law, as Mr. Sharma also said, IB code is something which is again one of the thing which is there from, again, see, these all are part of a big practice area, banking and finance, and there certain institutions, certain law firms have segregated the practice area into sub practice area, so that because again, even if you ask me, in criminal or civil procedure, even in the court, people practice a particular specialized area, and with time gradually you specialize in a particular set of practice area, and then you have the expertise on it. When I spoke about shipping finance, even in India, I can tell you there will be very few guys who would be doing the shipping finance. So is the case with aircraft financing. So is the case with real estate financing. So that's why I said there are people where and the institution has subdivided it into subgroup into the institution. So now coming to on the laws, FEMA, stamp duty, and then definitely you have SARFAESI, Banking Regulation Act, and RBI is some RBI site. That is something which I'll always suggest you all guys make yourself familiar with. Go through circular, read it. I know it's the same thing like telling someone in the first year to read Economic Times or Business Standard, and every day he'll be frustrating and keeping back the newspaper saying nothing is going inside my head, what all they have written. But believe me, first year you won't get. Second year you'll get a little hang of it. Third year you'll be able to understand the article. Fourth year you'll understand the commercial of it. That's how you learn. So don't expect too much from you, but definitely put in effort and try to see how you are making use of it. So these are overall from the practice area. Now the important and the foremost question, just a second. Well, you all may be thinking, itna to gyan aapne de diya, par ye bataiye, where do we see ourselves? What are the organization we can think for? So if you ask me as a lawyer, your options starts from banks. When I say banks, it can be a PSU bank, it can be a private bank, it can be a foreign bank. And gone are the days when, I'll tell you, during in 2005, 4 and 5, when in our college recruitment used to happen, it was just the ICICI Bank who has a very strong legal in-house. I remember that was the only bank which has around 50-60 of in-house lawyer. But now scenario has changed. It has changed for almost all the banks. And there was a time in 2008 or 9, Yes Bank used to have around 10 to 12 in-house legal. Now they have around 65 to 70 in-house legal. Though Yes Bank is going with tough time. I'm just giving an example. So is the case with any of the foreign banks. So many of the foreign banks, they have in-house legal counsel. That's one where you have the option to look forward for. Definitely law firms are there. Then you have various corporate houses where also who does the financing related thing. They also observe the people who have the expertise in banking finance. Then you have the NBFCs. When I say NBFCs, you have various NBFCs like equipment finance. For example, I'm telling you, or let's say or any of the your Centrum Finance and all. These are the NBFCs who also takes the in-house counsel. Then there are certain institution who provides the security trustee services to the banks and all. When I say security trustee, they are the agency sort of thing who does all the documentation and everything, take care of the security package, not the drafting thing. They are just the custodian sort of thing. There also you need the lawyer, and that's also where the opportunities are there. IBC related thing, definitely. See, I'm not going and telling you for litigation. You know, litigation is there for everything. Anything goes bad has to go for litigation. So there you always have an option that you can think of being a litigating lawyer also. And there are lots of financial disputes which keeps happening. And because of, as I said, because of IBC code coming into picture, it's a new gamut altogether into the market. Definitely right now for a year, things has been suspended because of COVID and all. But yes, that's also there. Now, you have also, as I said, security trustee and all banks and all. Then you have various uh, corporate houses also who takes the in-house counsel who has the expertise on banking related work. But yes, you cannot say a corporate who does more of acquisition work will have a lawyer who does more of a financing related work. No, it's not. Going abroad, when it comes to market outside India, there are many of my juniors, or I can say colleagues, who are settled abroad in foreign banks, and they are in-house legal there. And not only this, the banks, even in the foreign law firms, and they have a practice area where in banking and finance practice area, you have a strength of around 40 to 50 lawyers in many of the firms in India itself. So you can just think how big the sector in itself is, and it's a all are a matter of what is your area of interest. So from my side, it's more or less, this is what I wanted to tell you all, what the law and everything is all about. If you ask me just in an hour talk, I can tell you everything. I don't want to do that because it will be too much of saying and you grasping nothing. Sorry, that's not the intent. I gave you just a flavor touching upon each and every topic just to give an idea. But your interest will only develop when you do your effort. And for example, if I also put an effort to you. So tomorrow, if you come with a problem, if I explain you in such a lucid way, you automatically will develop an interest. Oh, this is it. I'll tell you, even many of my team members, when they walk on the road, they end up saying, we have done this deal. See, this is the something which we were talking about. And you feel proud about it because you are part and associated with those transactions. And that's how it works. Even for a few of the road projects, I remember we were going somewhere towards Trichy. We said, I ended up telling to one of my friend, this is the Trichy tollway, we did the financing for them. And we were just laughing around, we just crossed the tollway. And even for the tollway, I'll tell you all guys, since I said this, on the tollway, you would have seen they collect the toll and all. These are again a part of transaction only. So everything is part of transaction. Nothing is beyond transaction. And believe me, all these things had been already captured, drafted by some or the other lawyer. And the best example I'll tell you, for example, your hotels like Lalit, for your examples like Hyatt and all, even they, for that too, we keep on advising on financing aspect. That's why I said, if you look around everywhere, you have financing, even from starting to pharma companies also. Why I'm saying pharma? Today, given the COVID-19 situation, pharma company definitely, they are trying to tap the market. And otherwise also, they also keep on raising various funds. And they raise the funds not through debt, but also through issuance of various bonds, various FCCBs and all. So these are very nitty-gritty of the thing, which I won't get into that. But yes, these are the overall aspect with respect to banking and finance, and that's what it is from my side. Till the time I hear from you all people, unless until I'm missing something, you all want to hear something from me, will more than happy to assist and guide you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, you have answered almost all the questions from the chat box in the session itself. Except the following questions. First is, what should be my approach throughout my law school life for having a career in banking and finance sector?
To answer that, whoever has asked, I don't know in which year you are. First and the foremost thing, these 5 years are your golden years of your life. That's definitely, I'll say, guys. Don't miss on that. That's very important. But definitely when I look from ma'am's perspective, principal ma'am's perspective, she'll definitely love you all to be placed somewhere. Now coming to that, definitely for that, if you all want to see yourself as a practice area to develop for banking and finance, first develop an interest. As I said, I give an example of 10th and 12th standard. So don't let me talk like a parent saying that you have math as your 12th, you should go to be an engineer, go and take math. You don't know trigonometry, you don't know how hyperbola will look. And I'm telling you from my personal experience. I believe me, when calculus thing came on my table, I said, this is going over my head. I don't know how many of you have seen Tare Zameen Par, like the Seal Safari. It was, the numbers were just going above my head. I said, no, this is not my cup of tea. So similar way, when you see banking and finance practice area, start developing a love for the subject. Believe me, when you develop that love and zeal for the subject, automatically you will start building on it. Since somebody asked what all should be done, as I said, read, go, be very active. When I say active, go through the RBI website and all, read it, read the newspapers, because I spoke about business standard for first year also and a fourth year also, and a fifth year also. So understanding will be different, but develop and inculcate a habit. You will know what is happening in the market. Read certain articles. There are various magazines in the market with respect to, when I say publications keeps happening, read it. Believe me, for first and second year, out of 100, 80% will go above it will just bounce your head. But what will give you a comfort? Somebody talking, right? Let's say if I'm talking right now, if I use some terminology, I'm sure somebody would have been able to connect. I have heard this word. Yes. And that's what makes you happy. And then again, you go and read the thing and your understanding increases. Whatever subject you all are reading, as I said, Transfer Property Act, contract, have your basics clear. Believe me, even in practice, still my guys with 8 or 9 years of experience, still we go and open our contract act from Mullah. We read it again, section again and again, try to interpret it in a different way. That's why I said what I read at least 17, 18, 19 years before, now reading of the same section is a little different, because then I try to look out for something from a commercial angle. So those are the readings which should be there. And definitely when you intern any of the places, try to get hang of the good work. When I say get of the good work, see, all work is good from a learning perspective. Even when you pick a file, it's a matter of what you're trying to learn out of it. So it's all up to you. So that is also very critical and important. And never, ever hesitate in asking. Why I'm saying this? Because even this was told to me almost 10 or 12 years before by one of my very senior person. Still, I consider him my the guru who had taught me lots of things. He has told me one thing: Nand, never hesitate in asking questions. There is always good to understand from the people what is required from you. Then you will be able to respond properly. Even during your internship and all, when you all are assigned something, people just get on the job. Let's do it, fatafat. Sir will be happy. I'll do this, that. But when you go with the job, they say, sir, what have you done? Did I ever ask you? No, sir, you have said this. But people never bother to ask. And believe me, that's what, at least in our organization, that's what we definitely tell to all the students. Please ask, because you are putting in an effort and your effort should definitely benefit me. So don't hesitate in asking, and then build on it, and I'm sure you'll have the solution for it.
Thank you, sir. Next question is there any other exam rather than IBPS for the recruitment of law officers? Usually they want experience from the candidates. Is it true?
See, if you ask me, one of my batchmates, she was in ICICI Bank. Then she moved to HPCL, Hindustan Petroleum. So she had to give an exam for it. So when it comes for certain PSUs and all, yes, you have the exams, and it all depends at what level they are looking for the candidate. When I say if somebody is looking a candidate not at a fresher level, definitely they will look for an experience. That's how it counts. If I'm looking for a fresher, they don't look or count for an experience. And I'm sure these public institutions, wherever these criteria comes, they have those criteria laid down in the forms itself.
The third question is, if we have not opted for banking law in final year, but have got prior experience in banking, can that person go into banking and finance internships?
Yeah, definitely. As I said, I think other than Banking Regulation Act, there is not a single act which I said all the law student must not be contract. Everyone has to read. Transfer Property Act, everyone has to read because you have to score. So specifically Banking Regulation Act, if you ask me, as such, is just guides certain things, but it's not only the act you have to read. And there are many people who have not taken as a banking. I think you have the options right now. I don't know how the curriculum is now for all the colleges, but I remember during our time we had the option, either you take insurance or banking regulation. And believe, if you ask me honestly, I can remember in 5th year we used to just calculate which subject will fetch more marks, and we opted for it. Never thought that, at least I never thought that I'll be practicing banking. But yes, as I said, once you develop an interest, that will help. And it's not like that you have not taken the banking law as such. you won't be able to go for banking practice. But having said this, now put yourself into my shoes. Now I'll tell you a little some different thing. So I have, let's say, 20 CVs lying in front of me. How the filtration happens. That's where, because there are certain platform or certain stages to break through. So I always see it this way: till the time you get on the hot seat for the interview, you then only you can say what all you know. To get to the hot seat, that's where I want your CV to be strong. So before you coming to the hot seat, sitting for the interview, it's your CV curriculum vitae which will be speaking for you people, not you in person. So that gets little important. But yes, there's no we have taken people also who had not the banking and as their subject during the law course also. But when we interviewed, we found them really good. We found when he interned, he learned so many things which we were not expecting him to know also.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for enlightening us with your presence. Now I would like to request Honorable Chairperson, Youth Parliament Society, Dr. Rajat Sharma, to give a vote of thanks.
Am I audible, Sakshi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Honorable Dean, Law College, Dehradun, and officiating Vice Chancellor of Ranchi University, Professor Dr. Rajesh Bhargava, sir, Honorable Principal Law College, Dehradun, Professor Dr. Aman Wadekar, distinguished speaker for today's session, Mr. Nand Gopal Anand, equity partner at Juristop, all the dear participants, my dear organizers, Youth Parliament Society, Mr. Sahil Thakur, President, Ms. Somi Sharma, Vice President, Ms. Mahima Bhatia, Event Coordinator, Mr. Abhijit Kashyap, Event Coordinator, and all other office bearers of Youth Parliament Society. On the successful completion of this third and final day of second edition of National Webinar on Career Awareness in Legal Globe, I'm extremely happy and delighted to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of Youth Parliament Society Law College, Dehradun. I place on record my sincere thanks to Professor Dr. Rajesh Bhargava, sir, Dean, Law College, Dehradun, and Vice Chancellor, Ranchi University, for all his support, guidance, and motivation throughout this event. We are very grateful that sir has spared his valuable time for us. We are also grateful to Honorable Principal Law College, Dehradun, for her motivation, continuous support, and guidance throughout this event. Sir, a very special thanks to you that you have accepted our invitation within the short span of time. We are really grateful to you for being with us, for delivering such a good lecture and discussing different aspects of banking and financing, the relationship between banking and financing. I've discussed different kinds of financing, how banking is relevant to how financing is related to banking, be it project financing, aircraft leasing, trade finance, securitization, or real estate. So the laws dealing with the banking sector cannot be discussed, we know, in this short span of time. But although as from career perspective, this was a very good lecture and students must be motivated to come up in this particular field. This is a specialized field which require a lot of efforts, and from the first year, as you said, we must inculcate certain habits in ourselves that may start from reading the Economic Times, reading the newspaper or magazines relating to banking or finance. Further, must have you also gave certain life lessons for the students, like you should not never hesitate to ask questions. This inquisitive quality or intrinsic quality to ask questions, that must be inculcated in every student. These are the basic fundamental qualities of every student. So, sir, it was really very nice hearing from you. We would definitely like to hear from you in future as well. Very thankful to you, very grateful to you for your association, for being with us for today's session. I must congratulate all the team of Youth Parliament Society under the leadership of Mr. Sahil Thakur, Obviously, this was second edition of this national webinar. Though we were not planning to have or to come up with this second edition, but as students insisted on to organize the second edition, keeping in view their zeal, the commitment of the Youth Parliament Society, or the active responses of the dear participants, we have come up and successfully organized this second edition. So they also deserve accolades, all due to the relentless efforts made by the Youth Parliament Society. It may seem that this is a virtual session, this is merely an online session which can be organized even a short span of time, but those who are organizing these events, they know that there are a lot of efforts involved in it. So a very congratulations and hats off and accolades to all the members of Youth Parliament Society for organizing this event. And this is not the final point or finishing point of these events. We are coming up with certain other events. Mr. Sahil Thakur and all the team, they are insisting me to have to organize certain other parts and other programs in the series of in the line of the lectures or sessions organized by Law College Dehradun or particularly Youth Parliament Society. And we are also thankful to all the dear participants for their patience, for their participation. And we also look forward for your participation in future as well. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Sorry, Sakshi. Sorry.
Yeah.
I interrupted. No, I said thank you, everyone. And thank you, Mr. Sharma, for your kind words. And especially to students, stay healthy, stay safe, and enjoy these 5 years of your life. That's very important. And have a smile on your face. At the end, you all as students, you need to enjoy your life also. And all the best for your futures. And be prompt, as I said, and things will definitely fall in place. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to conclude this session. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you.